Today we're going to talk about clutches and how you know when yours is failing or has failed and what to expect out of it. Let's find out. Let's get started. This is a 2019 Honda Civic Si. It has a little over 90,000 miles on it, and we're going to take it for a quick little road test here in a little bit and demonstrate to you one of the modes of failure you can expect. There's 2 or 3 different ways a clutch can fail. But we're going to show you how this one is failing, and it has a few other issues they want looked at. This is starting to get into some of the 2019, 2020, 21 years. Those are starting now to fall out of factory warranty. And now we're starting to see them here at Omega. You guys, you got to keep in mind when these 2024, 23 cars are still under factory warranty, why would you bring it to a shop for work when the dealer will fix it for free? So I don't get to see those until their warranty runs out. I've gotten a lot of emails about what I know about a 2024 this or a 2023 that. I don't know. It needs to be in the shop. I need to see some of these incidents, how they're failing, and get that data for you guys. But while it's still under factory warranty, I'm not going to see them here. We're starting to see these show up. This is a 2019. Obviously, it's out of warranty. It's time for some services and some work. Let's take a look around this Civic Si. You can see right away the headlamps are starting to fog pretty bad on the edges. And there is a little bit on the fog lamps on one side. This one's cracked, nothing going on with fog there, but this is a dark gray color, and it has some, like, I don't know what those are, 8 or 10 spoke wheels. These are 18s. I do like factory style wheels. They are my favorite. This one's not beat up or scraped or rusted or anything. It shouldn't be with this low of miles and age. As you can see, it is the Si model. One thing that's really cool is our exhaust is in the center, right in the middle of the car. Kind of like your Boxster, Mrs. Wizard.
Yeah, it is.
As I go down this side, you can see no damage either. But one thing that's interesting is we have this huge nub sticking out on the mirrors. There's actually a little camera in there. So that shows you some side views and some collision data if you're getting too close to a car. Let's go ahead and take a peek under the hood. Here's our little tiny 1.5 liter turbo. It says Earth Dreams Technology Turbo. This is not a super high powerful engine. It's around 200 horsepower and also around 200 pound-feet of torque. It's enough power to have fun with and enjoy, but it's not enough that's going to win you any severe races against Ferrari LaFerraris or something. But it is a cool little engine. I'm just now starting to see these 1.5 turbos again. They've been under warranty. I've not been seeing them come into the shop. You guys can let me know in the comments, what do you guys know about failure rates on these? You can actually school me on them. We are going to be doing a valve adjustment. We'll take the valve cover off and take care of that service. Not a serious job. One thing I do see different, it doesn't have an engine cover, so there's no shield or anything to mess around with. It's just open. But one thing that disappoints me on this is here we are in 2019. I've seen a lot of cars that are newer and they're really good on the packaging of the engine. Everything's compact, there's very little hoses or wires. They've really got it down to an art. But then you look at this engine here and there's hoses and hoses and hoses and wires and hoses and hoses. It's just so much going on. That's kind of strange to me. But the only issue I would have is like if you're taking apart something on the engine, a cylinder head or head gasket or something, you'd have so many hoses and wires to disconnect. But it doesn't look particularly hard to work on. Let's go ahead and let Mrs. Wizard show you guys around the interior, then we'll go for a little cruise.
Liking that. I like the animation there. It does say 95,483 miles on here. Liking this gauge cluster. Obviously, it's all digital. When it's turned off, everything is just black, but I like that. It's looking nice. I like the red accents, and we're going to see those red accents in other places in this interior dash. Looking good. Kind of got some nice angles to it, but again, lots of hard plastic, so at least it's going to be nice and durable. We do have some carbon-esque design below the windshield. We've got a nice infotainment screen. Look, more red, easy to use controls. Got a nice little spot there to hide things. Ooh, this is what makes this thing fun and giving it problems today. Yes, this is a 6-speed manual. And again, more red with that stitching. We've got a parking braking. See, it's illuminated and it's red. But I like, if you look under there, you can see we've got lots more hiding spots for things. Here's where those cables connect way back there. Got coins down into there. I know it's kind of hard for you to see. So I guess it's a center console. Got a few little blemishes there because it is fabric, and that does have a tendency to pick up things when you don't want it to. But as we look down, you'll see we've got very deep cup holders, so everything would be very protected in there. And I like that it's really deep, so when you're driving and you're trying to shift, you don't have a cup in the way. That can be very frustrating when you try and go back and you ram your elbow into your, Yeti cup or whatever. We do have a little spot here that does lift up. Got a few corners and blistex in there. Okay, looking good. As we get to our seats, yeah, cloth seats, but they've got nice design on them. And again, more red stitching, and they've got some serious bolster on the side. And again, SI embroidered into the back of that seat. Go to that door card. Again, more red stitching on there. I love it's very subtle, but it does make a big difference. That little stripe on the door there definitely brings your eye to it. As we get to our back seat, yeah, they've got a few things taken apart back there, and I think they're working on a stereo system in the vehicle. So got a few little pieces and parts taken off, but again, more of that red stitching and looking really nice back there. I don't see any marks or tears. Headliner, nice and dark black, looking nice. As we get to the steering wheel, yeah, more of that red stitching going on, liking it. Got some piano black in its places, got our Honda symbol in the center, got some simple little buttons on each side, but that's about it. So enough of this interior talk. Let me get the wizard in here and let's go for that test drive.
A lot of the manual cars I'm used to, you have a manual handbrake to release, but this one has a button. Go ahead and push it. There we go, we're ready to go. You'll notice as I'm backing up, I'm putting the clutch way high up just to get it going. It's kind of slipping right there a little bit. We'll go ahead and move forward here. You'll kind of notice I have to rev it pretty high, and the pedal, I'm telling you guys, it's way, almost all the way out just to get it to go. There we go, it finally took. Yeah, this clutch is on its way out. We'll show you in a minute why that is and what causes it, but it is almost completely worn down. There we go. Otherwise, seems to drive fine. I don't notice any clunking noises, or there's no warning lights on the dash or anything, so that's good. Go ahead and get it turned around up here and head back to the shop, but yep, this clutch is done. So here we are underneath the car. Right away I can see that maybe something, it was in the road and accidentally hit the little aluminum shield here. I'm going to go ahead and remove this shield. We can straighten it out for the customer and put it back on. We'll also show you guys what's going on underneath and what's going to take to do a clutch. There we go. See, a little bit of something is slinging some grease there, and the customer did mention they think the bearing on the intermediate shaft might be doing that. But this is definitely some lightweight aluminum, unlike an Aston Martin or something where the body panels are actually part of the structure. Some of them are glued and bonded, some of them are riveted, they have fasteners, and you're not really supposed to drive the car like an Aston Martin with the panels removed. But that's not the case here. It's just for aerodynamics and to keep dirt and debris from getting underneath the engine. Let's get this out of the way. So right off the bat, I can see there is a small oil leak, and also the intermediate shaft bearing is slinging some grease like the customer said. Let me show you those. Right in here you can see there's an inspection plate or whatever for the tensioner for timing chain, and the gasket on that is just pouring oil out of it, which explains our leak on the oil pan and whatnot. But up here we do see the intermediate shaft, and the dust boot and whatnot is starting to sling grease out of it. We'll need to replace that as well. Luckily, when we go to remove the transmission for the clutch job, all of that will have to come off anyway, so it's not that big of a deal on the labor. But this is the transmission here. From about this line, you see this little line here, this is where the engine and transmission separate. This whole transmission is going to come out and out the bottom of the car. CV shafts have to come out. It's quite an ordeal. It's not a huge job, but It's definitely not a 10-minute job either. So that's what we'll have to do to get to the clutch. We'll take care of that intermediate shaft. I'll show you that here in a minute, and also reseal that little cover. Let's check our brakes. They're about 60 to 70% remaining. Sway bar link is good. The CV boots are good. Struts are not blown. Nothing loose there. 60 to 70% on the brakes. Struts are not blown. Sway bar link is good. CV boots are good. Nothing loose there either. So this is a front wheel drive car, obviously, so there's not going to be any drive shafts or anything going towards the rear, but we do have some exhaust. And it looks all stock, it's all intact, it's not been altered. It is quiet when you run it, so unlike a lot of Civic SIs have been modified, this one is pretty much stock with the exhaust. As you can see here, the exhaust goes from a circular shaped pipe and it gets flattened like a pancake as you move back. That's for clearance. We have 1 into 2, and then 2 back into basically 1 on our center tailpipe here, which we showed you here a little bit ago. So a little bit more complicated exhaust system than we're used to, but still wouldn't be tough to work on. Let's check out the back brakes. About 80% remaining on the brakes. The shock is not blown. Nothing's loose here. And our sway bar link is good, nothing loose there. Brakes are about 80%. Shock is not blown. Nothing loose. Sway bar link is good. Let's check the date codes on those tires. So these are some Michelin Cross Climate 2s, and we can see it's 48th week of 2023, so they're still fairly new. Let's get this thing on the ground and talk about clutches. So a lot of people know what a clutch is and kind of what it does, but not everyone understands what it means when it starts to slip and how much labor it's going to be to fix it. Some people do it themselves at home. They'll put it up on jack stands and do the whole transmission job, but most people send it to a shop. It is quite labor intensive, and if you don't know what you're doing, it could be dangerous. You could have a transmission fall on you. You could have jacks fall and the car fall on you. For safety reasons, if you're not sure, confident that you can do the job, you probably should leave it to a shop to do your clutch. Let's take a look at some of these parts we have over here. We're going to describe what happens with the clutch, and I have an intermediate shaft to show you. Now that bearing I just showed you on the intermediate shaft, we're going to have to remove that anyways to take the transmission out. And I looked at the price of just replacing just the bearing, and it was only $20 more to get the whole thing. And I don't have to have any labor of splitting it apart and fighting with corroded old bearing, getting it off the shaft. Everything brand new. There's no extra labor, and it's just a small amount more money. Why would you mess with the bearing? Just get the whole shaft. So that'll take care of that issue. We'll get a simple gasket replacement on that little inspection plate. That'll solve the oil leak. Let's take a look at these clutches here. Now these are both off of basically exotic cars. This is my Audi R8, and it does have 2 discs. It's kind of sandwiched in there. It's a pressure plate and a flywheel and everything all in one, basically. This is where the starter engages, but this is the actual friction material that contacts on the surface of the flywheel for it to start engaging when you let out the clutch. Basically, it squishes that together as it's spinning, and it slips just a little bit. It's supposed to, as it slowly starts to engage and move you forward. When this friction material wears down, it gets to the point where it's almost not even hardly touching anymore. And that's why we see this one's revving pretty high and it's almost not contacting. We can see on the rivets here, the material's almost worn down to the rivets on my R8. That's why we're getting a new clutch. A new disc, I measure about 7 or 8 millimeters thick. These are like 5.5. They're almost at the end of their life for sure. So where does all the material go? It gets worn down and turned into dust, just like your brake pads on your car. Eventually they wear down and there's dust on the inside of your wheel. You see that? That's the same exact thing happening here. There'll be dust on the inside of the transmission bell housing. It's made to do that. It's a wear item. It's not supposed to last forever. Now what does a brand new one look like? Here we have a Ferrari 355 clutch. I'll pull the pressure plate off. We can see, look how thick it is down to the rivets. It's got very thick material. This is like a Kevlar clutch upgrade that I have for a future project, but You can see this is how thick it's supposed to be. So this is the disc. This is actually what wears down, and it gets thinner and thinner and thinner over time to the point where it's no longer contacting very well and starts slipping. So basically what consists of a clutch is your flywheel, the clutch disc, and a pressure plate. There's usually a throwout bearing or release or slave cylinder that operates, it pushes right here, pushes these fingers, and basically does the same thing on here. You can see where it was contacting and pushing our clutch in and out. And that's what releases it when you hit the clutch pedal. So that's basically what it looks like, and that's what's going on here is the little disc I just showed you on the 355 has gotten really thin on this one. It's barely contacting anymore. So I've shown you the first phase of failure. It's the clutch pedal's way high up. It barely wants to engage. You really have to rev it to get it going. That's how you know it's on its way out. Another way they can fail, if I've actually experienced this, is where the clutch disc actually just flies apart and all the fibers break apart inside. I had an S10 in the Army when I was in the military, and the clutch just grenaded inside. When it does that, it's stuck, it won't release, and then you can't get it into gear. When you try to go into gear, it just goes and I had to pull over to the side of the road and call a tow truck. That can happen. And the third way is a hydraulic failure or cable failure with the release, the actual clutch pedal. The cable can break, or there can be a fluid leakage if it's a hydraulic system. And then, so you push the pedal and nothing happens. It's stuck in whatever gear it's in. You can get it out of gear. You won't be able to get it back in very well. That's another failure as well, but it's not with the clutch disc itself. It's the parts that operate the clutch have failed. So those are three different ways you can have a clutch stop working for you. The first type of failure you'll notice on your clutch when it starts slipping, the RPMs start rising. It isn't because something's broken. It's because the disc is worn down, and it's going to wear down on every manual transmission on this planet. It eventually will wear down. It is a wear item like your brake pads. When it gets to that point, like this customer's done here, it's time to get it to the shop and get it taken care of. They did mention when they have the clutch replaced, they requested Exidy Stage 1 clutch. That's what they want on their car. I don't see any problem with that. I said, hey, we can do that. That's particular to the brand and the type that they want. So we've already got it on order. That clutch will give them a little bit more grip power, a little bit more strength. And one thing you find out, like this one's at 90,000 miles and it's towards the end of its life. It could have lasted a little longer if it were in a basic everyday car. But when you have a sporty car, like a Civic Si, there's going to be more spirited driving and people are going to be a little bit more harder on the clutch, I guess you could say. Therefore, it's not going to last as long. I've seen some clutches last 120, 140,000 miles. I've seen some last only 50,000 miles. Driving style can heavily influence the lifespan of your clutch. I'm not surprised this one's at 90,000 miles. That's not abnormal. It's time for a new clutch. The other way they fail is, like I mentioned, when the clutch disc comes apart or if your clutch pedal system fails. Those are when things actually break that aren't supposed to break. It's not normal. The first way is normal. The second two ways of failure are not normal. The transmission itself could last 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 miles, a long time. It's just the clutch disc is what goes bad. And it is a normal service item to go ahead and get that replaced. We'll get it done for this customer, and then the transmission will keep going another, who knows, 100,000, 200,000 miles. But definitely want to get a video out to you guys to show you how a clutch can fail, what it means when it fails. And typically, to get a clutch replacement, it can be anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000. It depends on what kind of car you have, how difficult it is to get the transmission out, if it's all-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive. But typically in that range. And what you can expect as far as time is, it's probably going to be in the shop for 3 to 5 days, possibly a little bit more. If you're curious what kind of tools we're going to use to do all this work, or really any other work in the shop, check our Amazon affiliate link in the description below. A lot of the tools we use every day in the shop are tried and true, are for sale there for you guys. If you purchase any of them, we get a small cut and really appreciate it. And before you go, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell because we have so many more videos to come. Thanks for watching.